In the live stream for the new Wuthering Waves region, Lahai-roi, the devs mentioned that Star Torch Academy's architecture draws heavily from Exostrider research, reflecting precision and rationality, functionality above all else. I'll be the judge of that. Let's inspect this place and take a look to see not only whether this is true, but also to check out the city as a whole, because subtle foreshadowing, this place is insanely cool. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Kuro for sponsoring today's video. First up is the entrance to the city, which has a pit stop right outside where we get a bit of info about the place. They even have allocated parking spaces, love to see that. There are even NPCs from other regions here. A particularly interesting tidbit is a small convo between a student from Solizelum and a student from the Order of the Deep. How most students would jump at the chance to study at the Roya tribe's base, but that their younger generation want to connect with the outside world. So basically, a tribe that has likely lived in much isolation, but its younger people want to explore outside this. And Roya students are the only ones you can really tell apart from other students because of their headpieces.
The Space Trek Collective kindly reminds you of all our rules. Safety is the prime directive.
Okay, that's good to hear. We're off to a good start. There are a few other things, such as the lights, that are shaped similarly to the native plant life, or these cool sprinklers for the flowers which, as you'll find as we head further in, circles and spheres are everywhere here. Immediately as we enter the city, well, it speaks for itself, I think. It is stunning. The city does a lot of storytelling for itself, and this brings us on to the NPCs. Wuwa has dynamic NPCs that you can't interact with, but that spawn in and out and sort of wander around the place before eventually disappearing somewhere. And yeah, sure, if you follow them long enough, the disappearing act is a bit immersion breaking. The point is that adding more NPCs just sort of wandering around adds to the liveliness of the city. And there's the day-night cycle where different NPCs show up depending on the time. There are so many different idols and positions. This girl is eating a macaron, this guy is fallen asleep, and here we have a guard giving directions. And look, see here, we have what looks like an expedition class with the teacher giving a lecture, and just the amount of personality within this group. You have the girl up front listening intently, the one behind bored out of his mind, the one at the back on his tablet, then on the other side a student has fallen asleep. And just look at this plant too, like a fly trap, and if you move close to it, it closes up. I mentioned earlier the Roya tribe and how it exists in contrast to Star Torch, and the same can be said for the land as well. Alien life in contrast to the super high-tech city. Okay, it's more of a semi-contrast because in actuality, Star Torch Academy seems to take heavy inspiration from blob architecture or parametric architecture. This type of architecture emphasizes complexity and efficiency, and designs of this type tend to mimic organic forms and structure. The architectural design of the city in general is very eco-based too, a lot of green spaces for students to relax. Now, I don't know if the devs took any inspiration from this place, but Star Torch Academy looks very similar to the Potsdamer Center in Berlin, and the buildings in the city also kind of move. The city is very interactive, both on an in-universe level as well as for the player. There are so many cool little details to see. Even the ground has so much detail put into it, and see here at the entrance, it's those same scales that you'll find all over the architecture of the city. Got a group of people posing for a photo, these cool disc parasols, and then of course the benches that again have the same markings.
7 hours, 5 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Stop it, please!
Now within the city especially, most of the plants and flowers seem to be artificial, and you can see it in this form too, that sort of precision that the entire city is formed out of. Oh my god, you can move the cones. I repeat, you can move the cones. Within the city square alone, there is so much going on. Even this little robot trash can has cute animations. Look at it. There are these, of course, spherical vehicles, although I can't say I quite understand how they work, but they essentially function as movable shops. Then of course, every student's best friend, a vending machine. And speaking of, they have their own food economy, which I'm sure you can guess what it consists of. Very simple, easily processed foods. There is something that looks like a hot dog, but everything else you've got squeezy jelly, energy gel sachet, and the classic cup noodle noodles. I even managed to find what is inside those tins you see in the vending machines, and it looks like some kind of yogurt. Then on this table you can also see the sachets and sandwiches. The most efficient way of getting all your required nutrients so you don't waste time making food and get back to schoolwork. On the other side of the square there's a smaller spherical vehicle. At least this one has wheels, so it's another mobile shop. And there are a lot of outside classes going on here too.
Precision and quantification are the bedrock of science. They're what make verification, replication, and comparison possible. The scales carved into the Academy's architecture stand as a tangible symbol of that very principle.
Well, there you have it. You got an architecture lesson right there. Bestie, there's nothing on your screen. The square even has a moving walkway. Now, is this functional? No, but I'll admit it's pretty cool. And also over here, we have some students taking a picture of a cat, which is honestly understandable. Is that Pingu? No way. They put gacha within my gacha. Oh my god, and the balls move. Everyone, the balls move. We can indeed move the balls. Sorry, I got distracted playing football. The region has a few different vehicles. There's this very compact one, and then this one over here that looks more like a truck. And I will say that is one thing I wished they included more of, which is a lot more moving vehicles along the roads outside the city. There are some, but they're few and far between. The city also has these teleportation things, which by the looks of the crowd, it must mean that students also use these. The back section of the city is where a lot of the hangout spots for the students are. It gets a lot more colourful, and there's even a gaming shop. Look at those animations. Whoever's playing this game of Tetris though really sucks.
Caught you, red-handed. You're ditching your thesis to play the second coming of Solaris.
Yes.
And this city would not be complete without a convenience store. And everyone, pause what you're doing. Look at this glass. Oh my god, the condensation. This is so cool. Upstairs is, as you might have already guessed, where the classes take place. And if I just call this elevator real quick, is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? And it moves in real time, so you can see the structures as it moves up. Now I know what you're all asking. Is this upper area safe? Actually, very. Not only do they have railings, but look, I'm gonna jump off here and you think, oh no, she's gonna fall to her death. Nope. They thought of that. Look at how safe this is. I am impressed.
Ooh.
You can even join the classes if you want to, though I'm not sure why you would want to do that. Around the back of the city is where the majority of people seem to drive from. It's where everyone catches their rides, basically. And there's also a Linné advertisement up here.
First, no quick thrills. Second, no slipping on traffic rules. Third, safety first. No exceptions.
That's why they call him Sigma, everyone. Making sure everyone is safe. Now with patch 3.0 comes a brand new character, Linné. She has the quintessential Gyaru look, though it seems to be a mixture of a few different fashion subcultures. So it's a more modern Gyaru, specifically a cold Gyaru, which is a school uniform with a stylized flair. Basically, Linné has taken the typical Star Torch uniform and altered it. But worth noting is that there's even more to this, because her style also seems to derive from the Neo Gyaru, quite different from the traditional fashion style. This one tends to resemble more grunge wear. Note the darker black leathery tones of her skirt and a lot of belts, as well as her little skull emoji hair clip. This style also uses, especially when it comes to makeup, darker and more metallic and holographic textures and colours, connecting with her use of very colourful graffiti. In her outfit, you can see that same rebelliousness that the Gyaru subculture represents, a form of self-expression, which, if any of you have watched her trailer, we can see how important this is to her character. She's actually brown-haired, and you can see this in her roots, a past she is trying to get away from by finding herself in this fashion. She has headphones, a lot of buckles and belts, like we said. Her tie is loose, with a little barcode at the bottom, and her sleeves rolled up, showing her non-conformity. Her jacket hanging off her back. This clothing piece has a particularly translucent look to it for that techwear style as well, and her paint can is holstered on her leg like a gun. A lot of clips and keyrings too. Of course, we can't forget the shoes that double as skates. voice. You can see the little mechanism if you look closely. Even her idols showcase her personality. Gotta make sure we get that selfie in. As for her gameplay, Linnea's skates allow her to go super fast on ground and climb up walls. In battle, she equips her pistol as she skates around with ease, and the animations are super colourful, as is her signature weapon, the Spectrum Blaster with all the cute accessories. Linnea serves as a sub DPS and support and makes use of the new off-tune mechanic. As you attack, the enemy's off-tune level increases, and once it reaches the mistune state, a character can unleash a powerful tune break. Certain resonators can inflict shifting on them, and there are 2 types that you can switch between by choosing a resonance mode on the character's skill page. And overall, Linnea is a super versatile unit and provides a lot of support for the upcoming mechanics. And Lahai-roi as a region is just absolutely breathtaking. Now, time for me to live out my anime school life.